Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Hello World. Wait. I have to do the song. Hey now. Hey now. Welcome to another episode of Hello World. What up, Tatted? How are you, my friend? How's everything going? Hope you had a great day. Hey, J-Dog. J-Dog in his house. What's going on, J-Dog? You never answered. How are you doing? Where you been? I'm screen recording you doing your intro. You better work that camera. Yeah. Oh, Tatted, you definitely gave me a much needed laugh after today. But before I get into how my day was, been busy posting a new video last week. Okay. J-Dog, you have a wrench, so feel free to post the link to your video in the chat. What is your opinion on men wearing leggings? Personally, I don't mind it. I'm also a biologically a man. I wear them at the time comfy as ever. I meant a male, not men. I mean, look, man, people wear whatever they feel like wearing. Men wear leggings too, and athletes. So, like, whatever. Honestly, I don't care about what a person wears. I care about the contents of their heart, their character. That's what I care about most. And I'm glad you asked that because it kind of runs into my topic of today for communication. But before I get into all of that, I need to check to see if I'm buffering at all. Let me see. Let me see if I'm buffering. Yes, guys, go check out J-Dog's video that he posted. J-Dog is a snake enthusiast, and it's his passion to hold and work with snakes. So I definitely am all about following your dreams, your passions, because we all deserve to be happy inside here first. Content of their heart, blood, veins, whatever tatted, you know exactly what I mean. But guys, I thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you for being here. You can be other places should you desire or feel, but I appreciate that you decide to spend a little bit of time with me. Hey, the guy, how are you? Welcome to Hello World. But today, oh my goodness, today was a doozy. I just want to throw the whole daggone day away. I'm happy and everything, but today I just really just want to ball it up and just throw it away. It was definitely, it wasn't bad. See, here's the thing, it wasn't bad, but again, it runs into the communication thing. It wasn't that my day was bad. It was just a lot of little things were irritating me. Hey, Patty Z, how are you? Welcome to Hello World. There were a lot of little things that irritated me today. I didn't remind you guys to like, subscribe, share, turn on your notification bells. If you can, share up the chat because this is a conversation that we all can, tune in, plug in, type in. I think all of our conversations are like that. Yesterday, I woke up, threw up in the toilet. Oh, dang, Tatty, I hope you feel better. But so I wanted to throw the whole entire day away, and it pretty much started off. There was one person that came in and, hey, Dad's Vintage, how are you? Welcome to Hello World. There was one person that came into the office and they just, I don't know why, but they just like to gravitate to me anytime they're there. And it's nonstop talking, nonstop. Like, I appreciate the conversation, but they can go into a little bit of propaganda and politics and definitely has conversations to make you think, right? So, with all that thinking, trying to work, and also like the other irritances in the office, it was just like it became too much. And then, like one of my quotes, my expectations superseded the capacity of another person's ability. And I became very disappointed. And because of my disappointment, the level of tolerance that I had went down to here, which made me want to throw the whole entire day away. Yes, I said that's one of my quotes. It absolutely is. Sometimes our expectations supersede, I forgot, another person's ability, something, I forget what I said, but it's in the book. You want it? Go buy it. Um, it's just like we sometimes have in our minds things the way things should go. And then life says, no, this is the reality. This is how it's really going to go. And then you're like, oh, okay, great. Hence the topper of me wanting to throw the day away. Otherwise, I am thankful that I had a good day. But guys, we need to do better. As far as what up, B Charmer? How are you? What up, JAR? How are you doing? Welcome to Hello World. And tonight's conversation is about communication. And guys, we just need to learn how to communicate. A lot of things could a lot of things could be resolved with just communicating. And I've always and as I was driving back, I started thinking about all of the situations that I've ever been through that were difficult. If only we had communicated our differences, it wouldn't be where it is now or would not have turned out the way it did. I think we underestimate the human ability to absolutely be able to communicate and to be even minded, even tempered. I maybe I give people too much credit, but why not? We deserve to give each other more credit than maybe what we deserve because then you might blow your own mind with the way somebody responds. So, going back to just me because I don't know about you guys. Hey, secret son, how are you? Welcome to Hello World. The way she said, guys, screen record time. Oh my goodness, tatted. I'm so glad you're here though, because you definitely keeping my heart a beating afloat. So, had either party communicated, hey, what's going on? Like, this is how I feel currently. This is what you did currently, and this is what needs to happen. In a perfect situation, we could make it that way. But at least one person needs to open up a line of communication. If there is no communication, then you leave the wandering mind who is already negatively thinking to continue to think that way about the whole entire situation, then about you, and then to spread rumors about you as well in a negative tone. So, guys, it's simple. If we start communicating, no matter how prideful we are and no matter how much we think it's going to hurt, I think we'll allow people to actually have some type of reasoning, not reason, but reasoning, right? Because when you communicate, it makes you think. And as it is now, we hardly think much at all. And I'm talking in general. Most of our conversations are as deep as, did you see what happened on that show last night? Or what you eating later? I don't know. And have you ever thought about it how if someone asks you, what would you like to eat? A lot of times you could say, I don't know, even down to like the things that we like and want. It can become too much of a thought process. Hi, Secret Son. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Is that Secret Agent just changing your name to Secret Son? But communication, guys. Like, I am absolutely annoyed at how we all communicate with amongst ourselves. And I'm not just talking about me personally. I'm just saying in general. The way I see things done, it's like we don't even talk in complete sentences anymore. So therefore we can't even articulate how you truly feel. Or you become so prideful and egotistical that you can't even understand that by you not saying something, you are not only holding back what you need to express, But you are allowing another person to express how you may not even feel for you just because you give them no reason. So they create a reason and that's how that goes. You see how the division can just multiply and get more and more and more and more and more and more and more to the point where people start to, the H word, hate. And all for what? Because you simply could not open your mouth and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I feel. Do 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 do. Communication is for real a thing that if we don't get under control or handle of, then we will continue to, spin around in a circle like hamsters with no direction. And then we'll just continue to think for each other and play out scenarios that don't exist in our minds. And then all of a sudden, you've created a whole nother person in a person that already been created to be a person of their own, but you've already decided who they're going to be based off of what you presume because you could not open your mouth and talk. So I ask, how many people are ready to communicate? Hmm? How many of us are ready to communicate and actually talk in complete sentences, articulately? Learn vocabulary, use them in a proper context and form. How many of us are ready for that? Oh, I'm always ready for conversations. I love deep conversations because conversations help you think. And when you're thinking, then you can think like, oh, that's what you meant. I don't know. The point is, we need to talk more, people. We need to talk more. We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. Even if it seems like like you're beating a dead door, talk. And stop hiding stuff. Stop hiding, stop hiding, stop hiding. Hiding secrets. Hi, 420 Flower. How are you? Welcome to Hello World. There's your morning coffee drink right there. Communication is really important for everything in our daily relationships, work, etc. I wish that were a reality. I'm trying to think of my quote that I spewed out a minute ago, but I can't even remember it right this moment. You're only disappointed when your expectations supersede the ability of someone else's. That's not the complete quote, but that's something like what I was saying. So let's stop expecting things and start seeing them for face value and what it really is. See, and talking will help you understand what that is. Communication. Even if you are confused, at least talking will help you clearly think out maybe what you truly mean. Hey, before and after the mix, how are you? Welcome to Hello World. It's going good. People, first time in the house. Welcome. Tonight we are talking about communication, and I appreciate you being here. I would love for you to communicate too how you feel. I'll ask you guys this. When was the last time when you truly had a sincere conversation with whomever, whenever, and you guys didn't leave feeling resolved, or at least with an understanding, right? Because when you leave people with no understanding, a lot of things can happen that don't necessarily need to happen or have to happen. And genuine communication is something that is missing, right? Because we can pretend, and it goes back to my t-shirt, honesty equals freedom, right? Right? We can communicate and lie and pretend all of it. Guess what? You end up finding out the truth anyway. Last night or yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone, and I found out more about a topic that I knew about, but didn't know about. And it devastated me even more when I found out that there was more to the story than what was told to me. And it only made me more numb to the people or the person than what was necessary and needed. Because it was like, you didn't need to hide that. Eventually, people would find out. So now I have to break down the animosity in my heart for you hiding something that was so stupid when all you had to do was not even communicate, but just to say, yeah, this is exactly what happened. Instead of skating around the issue, you done made the issue worse. You see how that happens when you leave people in the dark and don't communicate? You end up making a situation worse because now they've got a chip on their shoulder and it's not going to crap. The hardest thing to do is to dissolve a chip on someone's shoulder, especially if you've offended them. That offense can actually last for the rest of the life expectancy of that person. And all you had to do was communicate. Just as simple as that. See, guys, the simplest things in life seem to be the hardest things for us to do. Communication is maybe one of the biggest things, and hence why we continuously have division. But our conversation tonight will help us think that maybe we don't need to create any more divisions, but we need to bridge the gap by just speaking. Hmm. So, when's the last time you communicated how you truly thought, not felt, but thought? Because we all feel a certain way depending on the mood that we're in, the food that we eat, and the drinks that we've drunk or drank, or the happiness that we may be feeling, right? Because that all goes into our mood. But communication is key, guys. I've never, ever, ever departed from a friendship when there was lack of communication. So that goes to tell you, when there is lack of communication, then those ties can be severed for good sometimes. Think for your own selves. How many friendships, relationships have you been able to hold together or stay congealed by the lack of communication? All of the relationships and friendships that I currently have, we communicate. So therefore, those relationships are pretty solid. Think about it. Makes sense, right? Ooh, makes sense. Hey, Chad, what's going on? Welcome to Hello. Where you been? You owe me a message, sir. Think about it for yourselves. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, think about it. All of the relationships and friendships and family relationships, whatever you want to call it, where you communicate, is there division? I'm thinking in my own mind, do I have division with the people that I currently deal with? No, no, because we actually communicate. And that makes the difference. Do you understand how simple that is? And when I think about all of the broken, severed ties, there was no communication, lack of it, and there was a problem that never was resolved. Those relationships don't exist. Hold on to your friendships, guys, your relationships by communicating. Simple as that. I agree. Any strong relationship is based off of communication and expressing your feelings, opinions with each other. Hey, in the kitchen with Lynn. How are you? Welcome to Hello World. Very busy. I'm trying again this weekend. No doubt. No doubt. How is everything with your son, Chad? I hope amazing. Communication is hard. One for me, I bottle up things a lot, trying to stay drama free. See, but by staying drama free, you are tearing down those beautiful organs. See, I used to be you. I used to hold things in to the point where I would just cry. And it wasn't even like tears of it wasn't even tears of like, "Ooh, I'm sad." It was just the anger. There was nowhere else for the anger to go but out. And you know what else too happened to me before and after? I started breaking out into hives because that anger was so deeply rooted and I held things in for so long that my body said, I can't take it anymore, Joy. I can't hold you up anymore. This is not healthy. I started breaking out in hives underneath my foot. We could be sitting here having a normal conversation, and all of a sudden my hands will get inflamed, all in the palm, all in the crevice, all in my eyes, my neck, my mouth, underneath my foot, on top of my foot, to the point where if I put my foot down to try to walk, it would hurt. That's an extreme case before, but I don't ever want you to have to experience that because it was very painful, very embarrassing, for one, because people are looking at you like, dang, why she got hives all over her face? Why does she have hives all over her arms? Her eyes are swollen. And even in my head, I was getting hives all over. But once I started talking, expressing myself, maybe not to the direct people that I needed to, but at least talking to someone, the hives went away. And I vowed ever since that moment to never, ever allow myself to get that stressed out to the point where I would never be able to express how I truly feel because I need to live. And guess what? Those people are not going to take care of me in my time of need. Would they care to even take care of me during my time of need? Absolutely not. I'm not even an afterthought. Feel like all people do is take, and take. And then I realize it's just who I was around, but slowly getting to trust people again and communicating. That is very true. And that's absolutely great. And the people that take are people primarily ones that have been the victim of being taken advantage of themselves. And because that's the only learned behavior that they have come to understand, they reflect that behavior towards other people who unknowingly become their victim. See, it's just history repeating itself. And once I realized today how history was starting to repeat itself for me, I had to put the brakes on it and say, I need to throw the whole day away, just the entire day, just throw it away. While I'm grateful that I was able to breathe, live, talk, walk, do all of my normal things, I still emotionally wanted to throw the day away because it was that bad emotionally. And it was all due to because of lack of communication, because of too much communication, too much aggravation built up, not me telling people, hey, guess what? You are aggravating me. Whatever you're doing is aggravating me, of which they probably had no control over. But I am the one ultimately who has to control my emotions, right? Because it all points back to me. You do need to live. And I need to see you always often come back to hello world. Hi, Gigabyte world. How are you? The guy I was talking about. Who? Who, Gigabyte? Who? Did I miss something? I definitely must have missed something. So it all boils down to this. Our world is getting better regardless of how you truly feel. I know it, I feel it, I believe it, and I choose to believe it because I absolutely have that right. And so do you. You have a right to believe whatever you want to believe, but I want to convince you that our world is getting better because that's the only resolve that will actually make things flow a lot better. And peace is one thing that I want all of us to have. Love is one thing that I want all of us to feel and spew out of our hearts, minds, and mouths. Mouths. That's what I want us to spew out. And if that's the very thing that will be my demise, then so be it, because I believe in humanity. I believe in a greater parts of humanity. I believe that we all deserve an opportunity and a chance to be the best version of ourselves. And if we do not have that opportunity or not given that opportunity, at least by one person, which only takes one person to make you feel better, one person to make you get to that greatness, one person to believe that you can be all that you can be. One person, that literally all it takes is just one person and their push to help you get to the next level. That sometimes one person will help you, remind you, and make you believe I can't give up because there's one person that sees they're better in me. That's why I believe we all need each other. Because if one person is just one person, imagine if there's a mass of one persons put together, equaling a society that can actually boost each other up rather than tear each other down. Something that we've been taught and trained and all practiced too long and know too well. It's just recoding your DNA. And anything you have to redo is always going to be building from the bottom to the ground up. But I don't mind. Everything is always grassroots. My company is grassroots. And it only can get bigger and better by the help of everyone here and me to continue to fight and not fight, but to progress as much as humanly possible. And then I have you guys to come alongside me and help boost me up in my time of need so that I don't give up and don't quit. Because it's easier to quit than to progress. You see how I was ready to use the vocabulary where I'm not trying to fight anybody. I'm not made for fighting. My hands are not made for. You think these nails were made for fighting? Heck no. These fingers were not made for fighting. These fingers were made for writing, talking, loving, holding. That's what all of us were made for. So the word fight, I'm going to take that out of my vocabulary because I realize how strong that is. As small of a word that is, I don't want to do that. I want to love. I want to show love. I want people to feel love in a way that maybe they've never ever experienced love. Because we've all been there when we know what love was not. And it takes all of us to put our little parts together so that we can become whole, WHOLE, as a community. It's possible. It's very possible. Trust me. If it weren't possible, then maybe you wouldn't come back again. And ones that do come back, maybe you wouldn't come back as often. But our world is getting better. No, let me say it with more. Our world is getting better. I believe it. I receive it. I'm going to walk in it. Will there be ups and downs, bumps in the roads? Absolutely. But does it mean that our world is not getting better? Does it mean that our world is getting better or not getting better? It does mean that our world is getting better. Well, you know what I mean. It does not mean that our world is not getting better just because we have bumps in the roads. It's what I tell people a lot, right? With the human body. Okay, let's just say we all have surgery, right? The human body likes to reject anything that's been foreign, right? And hate is a foreign thing. And sometimes it's consumed us, right? So once we start surgically removing the hate, we're healing. And in that healing, sometimes we get the pains from that deep, deep, deep cut that was made. And now we have to be sewn back up. And while those surgical strings that will melt away have been sewn into us, right? Surgical strings meaning love. While those start to dissolve, you know, you may get a little infection because the hate is trying to pump back into you. But then we just medicate ourselves more with a little bit more love. And then we get a little better every day. But it doesn't mean that we won't have bump ourselves sometimes and, you know, hurt ourselves a little bit here and there. But eventually we may have a scar, but it's not going to be a scar that tells us this is who we are. It doesn't identify us for who we are because we are healed. So I hope that analogy helped a little bit. It helped me. I was thinking it through. Truthfully, this is the best. Don't want to say anything. So message out. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you before. I just know that if I don't communicate with the people that I care about, that I've grown to care about, that I may want to keep in my life or bring back into my life, no matter how that relationship may work out for the people that are brought back into my life, at least there's resolve. And every single last one of us, as much as we want love, is the same thing as much as we want resolve. There's not one person on this world that can honestly say that they love to be hated, that they love to operate out of peace, that they love to be consistently fighting with people. That is not true. Our bodies were not meant for that. Our souls were never meant for that, to be fighting. Our souls were meant for love. And the more we understand that, the more we work and operate in that, the softer you'll get, yes, and gushy. But then you'll understand that a lot of people just are as broken down and hurt as you were. And somebody, one person, put aside their time just to help you up. One person. And that one person doesn't necessarily have to be someone that consistently talks to you. It could be just like, yeah, man, you got this. That one person that said the right thing to trigger your heart. This is why communication is so important. And when there's lack of communication, division will continue to happen. When there's lack of communications, relationships continue to tear down. When there's lack of communication, friendships break up. And we come to our own conclusions when our conclusions can absolutely be the wrong conclusions all along. Hey, 1SP, how are you? Yes, I bought these from a crafter when I was working an event. Octavia, how are you? You're missing your gift. You are a life coach. Oh, you think so? I don't know, guys. Like, you guys see a lot more than I do. Because all I see is that I'm just me trying to work out life, trying to get people to really be better than what they see. And it hurts when I absolutely see a broken down person. Guys, you know what else too? I haven't seen my friend in the wheelchair that waves high every day. And I'm like, man, where are you? And I'm hoping that I see him. So if he's out there tomorrow, I'm absolutely pulling over, turning back on my phone, and I'm gonna try to take a selfie if he allows me to and have a conversation with him because he's made a major impact in my life. Because I look forward to my little waves every day. Don't be so busy, guys, to communicate. Stop avoiding situations just because. What the heck is avoidance? It's fear. And what's fear? Fear is nothing but you feeling like you're going to be rejected. Guess what? You've rejected yourself the moment that you felt that you had fear. You rejected yourself. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Give people an opportunity to defend their position and what they believe. Thank you before. I appreciate that. I feel like I should pay this session, no joke. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But fear, man, I want to eliminate that out of my vocabulary. And I've been doing that lately. I've been living a lot less fearful and doing things that may not produce the results that I expect, which therefore is my expectations. And I can't put that off on any other person in the world when they don't meet my expectations. That's my problem to deal with, not theirs. Right? Because another thing, too, we all have free will. And this is what I think we all need to understand about love as well. This is how you need to love: open, not like this. Because when you love like this, you are telling people that you have love with conditions. Love does not have conditions. So, yes, we need to start loving like this. And I've learned how to love like this majority of the times. Because I guarantee you, if I loved like this, you would not see me sitting here talking to you right now. Because I would be so hurt, broken up, traumatized, and not believing a word that I'm saying right now. Not believing that it's possible that our world is healing. Not believing that any good can happen out of any person that has been bad or done bad things. Man, we all make mistakes. Some of our mistakes are public, some of them are not. You know in your head, in your mind, in your heart what you've done. The damage that you have done to people, to yourself. You already know. You don't have to explain that or express that to anyone. That's why I give you the benefit of the doubt. Because we've all done very bad things from time to time. Open. Yes. Forgiveness. That's something that we will battle with for the remainder of our lives. Forgiveness is also another thing. Love and forgiveness run hand in hand. I still work on forgiveness, complete forgiveness, right? While I forgive, I'm not going to forget what happened because I'm human, but I'm not going to remember that person for the harm that they did to me. I'm going to remember that person from the moment forward when they said I'm sorry and they truly meant it and I felt it. Moving that moment forward is when I hold them accountable for how they treat me then. But I want to challenge everybody to live like this. Well, to love like this. And also live like that, because once we start living like that, we'll understand what free will really means when it comes to other people and our expectations of how we think other people should do, right? You can't make anybody love you. Isn't that song? I can't make you love me. You can't make anybody love you. You can't make anybody like you. You can't make anybody respect you. You can't. It's their free will to do with it how they please. But you can convince them that how they're thinking is absolutely just their thinking. And whether they want to agree that how they're thinking is wrong, it's up to them. You can move on from that. But I always feel like guilt has a great way of eating at that soul, regardless of whether somebody tells you or not. I I refuse to believe that there's that many heartless people in this world. I know there's like maybe a small percentage, maybe 5% of the entire population that really just have no conscience, no soul. I believe so. But for the remainder of us, oh yeah, when you hurt somebody, you know good well it's gnawing at you. It's just like it's gnawing at you. You know it is. But are you brave enough, bold enough, man enough, woman enough, prideless enough, egoless enough to admit, hey, I did you wrong. I apologize. I hope you can forgive me. You're doing it for yourself because now that guilt is no longer eating at you. You can move around freely. Don't worry about how people receive what you have to say, especially when it comes to you asking for forgiveness. Don't worry about it. You've done your part. You freed yourself from that pain. And now it's time for you to not do it to other people again. So try your best to love like this so you can allow people to have their free will. Free will is something very potent and powerful. And I guarantee you will be less hurt when you start loving like this. Because once you understand that people have a free will, and sometimes their free will does not include you in their equation, it may hurt a little less. Not saying that it won't prickle you. I'm just saying the feelings of the human hurt. You know, when you get rejected by another human being, that hurt. Whether you want to admit it or not, that hurts. Sometimes it hurts longer than other times. But when you live and love and allow people to have their free will, you'll understand, okay, that was their choice. I have to respect their choice, whether I like it or not. It hurts less. And you've allowed people to communicate with you and feel comfortable enough to communicate with you, right? That's another thing. How many people are comfortable in expressing themselves with you? That's another thing we need to evaluate. Have you made people feel comfortable enough that you are approachable enough to speak to about difficult situations that may have you at the center of it? Have you? See, because at the end of the day, while we need to communicate with people, we need to self evaluate ourselves and see, or take a self assessment and evaluate ourselves and see what are we doing to make this equation a little better or worse. Hey, Tim, how are you? Hi, it's Cooper. Hey, Cooper. Hard to do, but not impossible. Thank you. Sung My Tank, written by George. Yes, George Michael. Yes, 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 yes. And somebody else sang that song too. My brother Tim. I decided to change my name to Secret Son. That's okay, Tim. At least you're here. You made it. Do you think that there should be a gay history in public school? Um, Let me put it this way. If you want to put gay history in school curriculum, then you need to put Christianity in school curriculum. You need to put Judaism in school curriculum. You need to put Islam in school curriculum. You need to put everything into the curriculum. And if you omit all those other things, then no, it should not go into the curriculum. That's just my opinion. You can't add one thing and subtract everything else. It's not right. It's just not right. I don't know about LGBTQ month. I don't know. Like, if they want to do that, then, and it's allowed, which will probably happen, then it's just going to happen. What can I say? But as far as school curriculum, the curriculum should be this: teach kids, children, how to be men and women of honor, integrity, nobility. Teach our children how to become men and women who know how to balance and subtract a checking account, who know how to open a business if that's what they should so desire to do, who know how to play instruments if that's what they should desire to do, to know how to be philosophers, historians, how to communicate. This is the curriculum that should be taught to our children, my opinion. All this other stuff is just us humans trying to pour on kids what we think they should learn. While kids do need guidance, they still are human beings that grow up into us. I want them to be a little less confused about what an adult life should be because they've been told what to do up until they're 22 years old and walk out of college with no job, still no real set train or knowing what they want to do in life. To be working as an employee when all they've wanted to do was be an employee, an entrepreneur, or a manager. Let's teach our children life skills that actually help them to be a human being of integrity and honor in school and out of school. And that means us adults who are adults, we need to do better as well, be better examples. We need to communicate with our kids without cursing at them. We need to communicate with our kids in complete sentences, articulating the very essence of what every vernacular vocabulary word really means in the context that it's supposed to be used. So, yes, adults, we have every opportunity and hold every reasoning as to the advancement or the disadvancement of our kids. So, no, I don't want to leave my training and education to people who just want to train my child or children or the community of children how to just be an employee if that's not what they're truly meant to be. I want them to learn what their purpose is. I want them to be happy with who they are, to be okay with who they are, whatever the case might be. Because none of us is perfect. None of us were born the same. None of us were born with the same mindset, heartbeat patterns, health. But what we do need to teach is compassion and love, right? Because we're already past all of that, right? We're just learning now that it's okay. But the kids coming up now, they're the ones now that can set the precedent of what we're talking about right now to be the leading thing that reigns in their life and in their hearts. So, as far as the curriculum, that's what I believe the curriculum should be. But we leave it up to people to decide what our kids should learn. And we're okay with that. And then we find it that we're too busy to pull them out of schools to send them to homeschooling or to homeschool them ourselves with curriculum that's just as good and pleasing and edifying to their souls. So unless you're willing to go to these council meetings, to the state legislator and say, no, I'm putting my foot down. I do not want this to be taught in my school. Then what are you doing? Because I guarantee you this, it took a few people to sit at a council meeting to come up with an agenda and a few people in that same room who voted on that. And then it became law because the rest of us were too busy being busy, working. Not to say that we can't work, but be present. If you don't want something to happen, be present. Have your voice heard. And our voices have been very silent. We like to complain and bicker behind the scenes, but when it comes to being right face forward in front of the whole crowd and stating your opinions, regardless of how it's taken, how many of us are bold enough to do that? Hi, sincerely, how are you? Welcome back to Hello World. Yes, really, World Day. Better themselves tomorrow and beyond. So everything that I speak, I actually try to put to action. Could I make time to go to these city council meetings? Absolutely. We make time for everything else, right? Let's stop being so distracted. Turn the TV off. That takes about a few hours back. That takes a few hours back, right? Because prime time is usually when the city council meetings happen, right? About 7, 8 o'clock. Go to the city council meeting, be present. Turn the TV off or DVR it. Save it for later when you can't sleep at night. Thinking about what you just heard at the city council meeting that they actually want to put up as something to vote on for our community. Therefore, you don't have to be disappointed at the end because you were there. At least you said something. At least you made your point of view and it was taken into consideration. You put your voice out there and it was heard. Communication. It's one thing for us to sit here and say, yeah, this world is crazy, but what are you doing to make it better? What are you doing to change the craziness? What are we doing collectively? I'm trying my best. I'm here, right? I'm like, hello world, trying to make a difference. I'm trying to be the difference. What I communicate, what I speak, about 95% of the times I actually put forth and do, right? Because there's that little small percentage chance I be punking out. And that's the truth. I just be punking out and not doing something, or just being lazy and just not doing something. At least I'm honest. Don't watch much TV, live shows on YouTube more. Yes, it's true. Me too, Tim. Me too. I watch YouTube a lot. I watch YouTube a lot. And I do watch YouTube a lot. But it's usually because I'm at work. Don't tell my job. I'm at work or like I'm already in the bed and and it's on. If I'm not busy, then I'll be on YouTube supporting other people, and that's usually why I'm on YouTube. I want to support other people. Want people to know that you're not alone. That whatever you're doing, somebody's there to support you, and I'll put my little voice out there just so you know that I was there, that I supported you. Whether you support me back or not, that's up to you. Remember, free will. I've allowed people to have their free will, no matter how it affects me. It's okay because we all have to sleep in our own heads, in our own souls, in our own bodies every night. So when we allow ourselves to love with openness, it hurts less and we expect less from people, right? The expectation isn't there anymore, or it's very small and very low now. So when people don't meet whatever you thought your expectation was, it doesn't hurt bad. You still want the skull cap? I'll bring it back. I just have to figure out how I want to do it. I might just change it like up a little bit, make it a better Scully. But communication, guys, we need to start communicating. And when we communicate, be respectful. Think about it this way. What do you mean by respectful? Would you appreciate if somebody came at you like, rah, 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 rah? No. Would you respect somebody that came to you like, hey, Joy, I really need to talk to you, and this is what I need to talk to you about, right? It's soft. I'm like, okay, what we got to talk about? You hurt my feelings. I did. You see the reaction? I did. When? The communication is like that, right? You think that's a perfect scenario? No, that could be reality. That could absolutely be reality. If somebody came to me and said, Joy, Joy, you hurt my feelings and I hurt their feelings, I'd be like, for real? Like, when? Sorry. And that makes me remember from that point on that maybe they're a little sensitive in that particular area of life and to maybe tread a little lighter when it comes to that topic. Would it take effort? Yes, but everything in life is effort. Communication is effort. And I'd rather communicate with my human beings, my fellow human beings, effectively than to walk around being disrespectful and hurting them, because that's not what I want to do. If I'm talking about I want our world to be better, it starts with how I treat people and how I allow people to treat me and how I respond to how I'm treated, right? Because remember, not everybody treats me kindly. And it's up to me to either say something or not. And I guarantee you, if I don't say anything, it's going to build up to the point where I'm just going to explode. So therefore, just be human enough and prideless and egotistical less enough to say, you know what? Let me nip it in the bud now before it explodes. Don't worry about how they receive it, as long as you did it in a nice way. They may be backbiting you because they don't know how to communicate themselves. Remember that, Joy, so that if they say, girl, what's wrong with you? Then you can say, oh, I know where that's coming from. That's coming from a seed of you not being able to communicate because that's how you've been treated. And not to take it personally, but to take it for face value and be like, you know what? If they understood how communication operated and worked, then they would not have reacted the way that they did to my way of telling them what they did to me. And we'll also remember and understand that communication takes a lot of this and a lot of that. Sit back and observe the situation and the scenario before you say something. So quick to always say something. I'm an empath like that as well. Back had to reset. Oh, okay. I have a question. Do you make prayer shawls? No, I don't. Yeah, I wanna know too, Nadia, because you know I definitely support you. Ever since that time you were in Carter Each chat just speaking wisdom, and I was like, I got to know this person because she's wise and she's speaking dope. Last night, word? What time? What was I doing last? Oh, I was watching the game last night. Yep, I was watching TV. See how distracted I was? I missed your live. Communication, guys, that's the beginning, the middle, and the end. Our humanity lies on communication. It's simple, but we complicate things all the time because we want to have the grandiose explanation of how the world was created and formed. You get it? We want to have this big extreme exaggerated explanation on why I had to pass out. It's okay, sis. I'm here getting information on the soul and mind. No, but I definitely want to be there. She is cool. Everybody that I've run into is real cool, and I learned and picked up stuff along the way. I'm never going to be one to have lack of communication ever again in my life. I don't. Because it doesn't feel right, it don't sit right, it doesn't taste good, and that affects the health expectancy of my life, the longevity of my life. Because I can't afford to have not one more cell, one more organ, not operate to its full potential because I can't communicate how I feel. I'm here not for the click and view, but selfishly. You're awesome, and I need to pull you in my energy. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I don't want to live another day with lack of communication. Because when there's as simple as that, when did okay, here's a good thing. Here's a question we all can talk about. When did life become so confusing? Right? It's so simple. It's so simple, but we confuse it. Like we make it so confusing for what? Why? Who did this? Thank you. Who did this? Who made life so complicated? Even now, this very moment, who made life complicated? It's so simple. It's so simple. You love somebody, you tell them. It's that simple. Oh, but here we go. This is what happens. You love somebody, but oh, well, I can't say that I love you because one, you might not love me back. And if you tell me you don't love me back, how dare you? How dare you not love me back? Or I can't love you because you don't fit the description of, what I have wanted in life. Or I can't love you because all them people right there don't like you. So I don't want to stand out of the crowd and be like, well, I'll love you anyway and just be me and you. Or I can't say I love you because I'm too embarrassed to say I love anything or anyone. Simple. Just say you love them. And guess what? You've released. You've made somebody's day. And if you are living like this, how they respond or react to what you say won't hurt or feel as bad or as great as it could be because you did it to free yourself. You did it because you want to advance humanity. It boils down to true intention and clarity. The moment people shed fear and walls and become better for it, because that vulnerability will force you to to be truthful and expressive. Yes, absolutely. Yes, vulnerable. That should be a word that we absolutely love and admire. To be vulnerable is the most admirable thing that you can be because that is saying, I don't care how naked my soul is at this very moment, I am unashamed of how I truly feel. And I am unashamed of what I have to say to you and unapologetic about what I have to say to you. And I'm doing it out of love, right? Because we have to put love on top of that because we can be unapologetic and as ruthless as we could be, but we want to do it in love. Vulnerability should be a word that we want to teach everybody. Yes, it's okay to be vulnerable. Yes, it's amazing to be vulnerable because that's strength when you're vulnerable. That is strength to tell somebody in that weakest part of you, where you are at the core of who you truly are, and say, I am who I am. Hear me, Raw. Raw. No matter how loud your raw is, vulnerability should be the new dopeness. That is dope, sincerely. For real. I dare you guys to be vulnerable and live in vulnerability to the point where it doesn't even feel like you're vulnerable because you're living your truth, you're living you, you're living your purpose. It doesn't feel comfortable in the beginning, but once you do it often enough, it becomes part of you. And you can walk boldly down the street like, yeah, I'm vulnerable. And what? Are you? I didn't think so. Because you got to be strong enough to be shedding your true self amongst people that may not accept you, amongst people that will reject you or possibly reject you. Because remember, it's all in here. People may absolutely love the strength in your vulnerability because that's strength. That is absolute strength to say, I am bold enough to tell you I am soft and I have a heart that beats just to make sure yours can beat just as well. Vulnerable. Or I'm vulnerable enough to tell you that I love you no matter how much you may say, I can't stand you. I don't want you in my life. I want you to be gone. That's fine, but I love you for who you are and who you were created to be. And I want you to be the best version of yourself. No matter how much you want me out of your life, I will walk away proudly, knowing that I have told you something that some people would be fearful to do, even if rejected. I truly want the best for you, no matter what. That right there, that's living in vulnerability. Remember, guys, we have to start loving the hate out of people because that's all it is. Hate equals fear, hate equals rejection, hate equals everything that we've grown up to hide in our lives. That wall that we've built up, that's what hate encompasses. And to love the hate out of people sometimes is a struggle, but progression is possible. Mhm. Without the weights, yes. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It takes time. It takes time for all of us because sincerely, we are learning something that we've forgotten along the way since, man, since toddler. When he said, "That's mine. I don't want to share that with you. It's mine. Gimme." Since then. So, yeah, it's going to take a lot more years to progress it. But as we progress, other people come along the way, be like, yo, that's dope. I want to do that. I want to be that. I want that light to shine out of me too. It's that deep. Communication started when we were in toddler age, from the beginning of time. From the beginning of time is when you were created. That's the beginning of your time. That's the only beginning of time that you are aware of and know of. Because anything before that never existed to us. So my beginning of time started ageless, because you know I'm not telling you how old I am. It started beginning at ageless. When I was an infant, that was the beginning of time for me. And ever since then, I've grown up, gone through some battles, had some war wounds, and now I'm being medicated with love, trying my best to allow people to have their free will and to love without expectations, and learning that in it all, it's simple. We're just all little hurt people that just want love. And while we don't know how to express the kind of love that we need, if only somebody is patient enough with us to say, I will be here with you until you can get it, and are able to walk on your own and to be able to help someone else along the way as well. It takes a village for all of us to be at the capacity of life that we could possibly live. Not one of us is an island. Not one of us wants to live on an island by ourselves. Not one of us wants to be in our own world. Not one of us wants to not love or be loved or be the source of someone else's love. Not one of us. That just don't sound right. So we need to communicate that, yes, I once was a broken person. What broke me? Okay, that broke me. Okay. But now I want to operate differently. I want to do the opposite of whatever I've been taught, learned along the way, or was led to believe. I need to reprogram a few things in my heart, not your mind, but your heart, because out of your heart flows what you truly feel. Your heart controls your speech and how you think, vice versa, whatever you want to, however you want to put it. It's all controlled in the idea of what you believe. So if you don't know how to believe in love, then you're going to continue to operate in whatever you've learned and have been taught along the way. Are you willing to really take the journey of operating out of love? This kind of love without expectations. Because there's a ton of people out here who just need somebody to come alongside them and just be like, you know what? I know you're hurting. I know you want to fight, but I want to love the progression out of you. I want to love the hate out of you. I want to be the difference in your life so that you can be the difference in 20 other people's lives because that's how important you are for someone else. I want people to be able to say, like, dang, you walk a little different. You feel a little different. Why? How? Because that's all it takes is the questioning, and then they learn. And of course, we all fall, scrape our knees, but we get back up and we give everyone else that same cushion that someone else gave us. And then for those who absolutely just don't want to live or operate in love, you've already allowed them their free will, so you can let them go on along their way. But eventually, they'll turn. Maybe at their deathbed, but at least they'll get it sometime, right? Right? At least they would have learned something. So today we learned that communicate. Oh God, I've been on here too long, guys. I'm sorry. Today, I just realized it's been an hour. Today, we've learned that communication, absolutely, communication, evaluate your relationships. The people that you communicate with effectively now are the ones that are actually in your life. The people that you don't communicate effectively with, they're not in your life. That can change with the power of your tongue and your heart saying, okay, I want to be more communicative and open. See what they got to say. You know, we've learned that free will is something that we all have, and we should respect others and not try to hold it against them if they don't choose what you expected. We've learned that loving with an open heart will help you not have too many disappointments when your expectations are not met. Plus, it furthers humanity when you can love with an openness because you won't get hurt by the simplest things that don't go your way. I just repeated myself in a different way. And we've also learned that communication is the beginning, the middle, and the end. There's healing. There's a lot of healing that can be done. A lot. Let down the pride, let down the ego, and communication can come. I'm on Hello World every single night between 7 and 9. We talk about everything and anything. I appreciate you guys for being here. I learned a lot from you guys as well. And if you ever want to get to know anything more about me, my company, or anyone that's ever been on Hello World, check the links down below. Our communication can free so many people. Look at Michelle, the first video that I ever posted. I'm sure she spoke for a lot of parents who are scared to speak out about what happened to their children or maybe happening to their children. She freed some of those people. So you guys are amazing. You are the difference in so many different ways to so many different people. Remember, you have the ability to make things better or worse every single day. You can choose. It's a choice that we make. Don't say your reactions or don't blame your reactions, your snap reaction to situations for the reasons as to why you can't do better. I hope that when you wake up tomorrow morning, you want to be the best version of yourself because when you are the best version of yourself, you are pulling so many other people up. And what great, gratifying, or satisfying feeling is that to know that you've helped somebody? You are beautiful. You are amazing. Your soul is amazing. Your heart is amazing. Your love is amazing. The gift that you give is amazing every single day. Well, however you do your gifts, it is amazing. It is necessary. It is appreciated. Whether you realize you are a gift, you are. Wake up. So, guys, my name is Joy from Be the Difference Clothing, signing out on another episode of Hello. Wait a second. Before I go, I wanted to tell you this. So, I reviewed my part 2 book that I wrote yesterday. And yes, those are quotes from the quote socks. Those are quotes from that part 2 book. And I absolutely will not be releasing that book because I read some of those quotes and I was like, ilk, it don't hit hard. It's not hitting hard. So what I've committed to doing now is I'm going to release an infant book, an infant quotes book. I'm going to work on those every day. I'm going to figure something out. I don't know what, but I'm going to dedicate a book for infants, and then I'm gonna come out with better quotes because those quotes, they ain't hitting hard. They didn't hit hard. So I was just like, you're never gonna see that book. But if you buy those socks, you will, because those are quotes from that book. I was looking at it yesterday and I was like, oh snap, those are quotes from that book. So yes, that will never be released. Part 2 will never be released. Yes. I can hold that against you, over you. So yes, I'm going to do an infant book. And when will that be released? I don't know, maybe before the year is over. I'm still looking for someone to help me to create a watch, if you know any watchmakers. And again, my name is Joy, signing out on another episode of Hello World.